And welcome back to the Webster's Red Door podcast. I'm Maggie Sanchez, and I'm the host of this little lovely podcast. And today I'm sitting down with a senior here at Webster. He is a creative writing major with a minor in film and is currently the managing editor for The Green Fuse. I'm talking to the one and only Logan Staggs.
Thank you so much for
Hi,
having me.
hi,
Hey,
Logan.
how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Could I ask you a question?
Please do.
So tell me, like, what exactly is the Green Fuse?
Well, thank you so much for asking.
Oh,
The Green Fuse is Webster University, the English department's undergraduate literary magazine, which accepts, submissions in all forms, so fiction, poetry, creative nonfiction, and drama. We publish it once a year, and it's a really great opportunity for students to get practice submitting to a magazine, practice writing, and getting sort of used to that process. And yeah, it sort of the production process runs from about February when the submissions are due into May, and then they're released at the end of the year in May at our big end of the year Pearson party.
oh, so you only do one a year.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
so is there like what's the history with the Green Fuse?
Good question. So I don't know exactly. I was looking today for some information. I know they go back to the mid '80s. I think is about like '84, '5, or '6. I think is the along the ones the oldest ones in the Webster Library's archive. I know that, and the oldest ones that we have physically in Pearson House, I've seen. I think there was in 1989 copy and then a 1991 copy. Those are the oldest that I've been able to find. So it's just this great tradition that Webster's English department has had for many years now, where the Green Fuse I know is that line is from a Dylan Thomas poem called "The Force That Drives the Green." The force that through the green fuse drives the flower, I think is what it is, or there's some weird wordage in there, but
Okay,
it's
I was wondering where the word Green Fuse came from.
yes, it's a really awesome poem. But um, yeah, that's about as much as I know about the history of it.
So tell me, how did you become involved with the Green Fuse?
So when I was a sophomore, I switched over to the English department because of Murray,
We
and
all love her.
all love Murray. And so Murray often will advertise the practicum positions in classes. He'll say, we have these things going on. Make sure you get involved. It'll be really cool. I knew a friend of mine at the time, Maria Walls, was going to apply to be a staff editor. So they had posters up, and I had jumped on and told Murray and gave him a cover letter and things like that of, I want to be a staff editor for the Green Fuse. And then that year was just the team of the three of us. It was me, Maria Walls, and Hannah Myers. And I did the pieces that year, and so that was a really fun process. And then the year after that, I was able to submit to the magazine, which was really cool. And I also got accepted, which was even cooler. Um,
I'd cry.
yeah, so that was really awesome. And so I got to see what it'd be like to submit to it and to get accepted into the magazine. And then this year, uh, I am now the managing editor. So I've stepped up from a staff editor to managing editor, and the only difference there is that everybody reads all the pieces that are submitted. We read them blind. They come in and we read them kind of like behind a wall. Right, this year we're doing it online through a Greenview or through a Google Teams, and then so
So you
yeah,
can't pick your friends.
can't pick your friends exactly. And
Oh,
so yeah, but this year and the other difference is the managing editor puts it together. So we're going to put it together. I think InDesign is the program that we're going to use, and so yeah, that's how I kind of got involved with it this year.
did you guys ever get a graphic designer?
No, there is. It's kind of like a lot on the managing editor. Like the managing editor, the editor like finds an artist to get the cover, art done, whether it's illustration, painting, any kind of like sketching or digital art or anything like that, and we just kind of, stumble through until we figure out how it works.
Is there any like theme to this? Like the years?
Really interesting question. I think there is to an extent. So like it might not be the same every year, but as we sort of, I wouldn't say so. No, I would say there's not usually a kind of theme or anything like that. But what's cool is that the first year I did it, when we had started going through all the pieces, we did end up seeing that a lot of the pieces that we chose had similar themes. You know what I mean? They had dealt with like family or love or relationships or things like that, and they had some through lines, and we were able to sort of like organize them based on that. And this year, we haven't organized all the pieces yet, so we haven't exactly seen if there's going to be a theme this year. But there's the potential for a theme always, but I wouldn't say that it's something that is always there or that has to be there. No.
Oh, good answer, man. I'm sorry. I was just always curious,
No, yeah.
because my sister was an editor for the Green Fuse a while back, and they did one for the 2020 pandemic.
Cool.
Yeah, and so there's like cool imagery
Yeah.
of like past pandemics of like the Spanish flu on one of those. They're all like laying around in the Pearson,
Everywhere.
and I'll like see my sisters. So why is it, in your opinion, important for students to submit to the Green Fuse?
Well, for several reasons, I think. One of them being that it gives you that opportunity to write what you want to write and submit it to a magazine for yourself instead of just submitting something to class. It gives you the practice with submitting to magazines, as I've said before, because a large part of getting published in the publishing world, I mean, I think that starts with literary magazines or just smaller publications, things like the Georgia Review, the Mississippi Review, or the Missouri Review, or the Paris Review, or all Post Road, all of these different magazines that you can get involved with. And to do that in a sort of like undergraduate setting where it's low stakes, low stress kind of a thing, where you're not paying for a submission fee, you're not doing any of these other, or like signing up for a submittable account or doing these things that require more work or effort. You're just kind of making something you like and sending it in an email. And it's a really good way to just show off your work and get involved and sort of like see your name in print, which I've found is a very surreal thing and something very cool. A very cool thing that I've gotten to accomplish since I've been in the English department.
I legit did not realize that there was like a paywall to get published in a magazine, so that's good to know.
Yeah, they're usually not bad, but sometimes, for submission fees, it requires like a $3 fee to submit your pieces, and that will let you, submit however many poems or stories or something like that. But yeah, there is that paywall.
Got you, because like I was expecting like way more expensive.
Some have, some literary magazines have, they charge say $25 for a submission, so that whenever whoever wins the sort of like competition or something like that will get a paid prize in return. There's a bunch of different things that literary magazines do that would change that price.
Okay, well that's sick though. Like if I'm getting the prize money after that, so that's sick. That's sick. I'll totally gamble with my money on that one. So like one final question, before I let you go. Uh, why did you choose creative writing as a major, or like, what is your favorite part about being a creative major?
Yeah, that's a great story. I think so. It started. I was a freshman during 2020, and so my major that year was film, television, video production. It was hard for me because I lived off campus. I live about 30 minutes away, so I would have to drive back and forth. And I don't know if you know the media center's policies on renting things out, but you can only rent out equipment for about 24 hours before you have to return it. And so it was always tough for me to manage that, especially like carrying it from Sverdrup to my car to going,
Like a
home.
pack
Back.
mule.
Yeah, just like that. And so doing all of that, during already tough time, trying to make all those projects happen. It was tough, but during that time, I was in each semester of my freshman year. I was in an English class. The first one was U.S. Literature with Murray, and the second one was fiction writing workshop with Murray. So,
Did you guys get into Whitman?
oh yes, oh yes,
God.
of course we got into Whitman.
I'm sorry. I just like I can't stand Whitman.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I can't. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah,
Like
we read all those transcendentalists, and I loved them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I do. I love them. But so that year, I was in those classes, and at the end of the year, Murray very sweetly had asked me to stay after one of our Zoom classes, and was like, I think it was me and another student, and he said, like, hey, you guys are really great writers. I would like you, at the time, the advanced fiction workshops that we had were like a class that it wasn't an independent study as it is shaped now. But at that time, he was like, I think you guys are some great writers, and I would love to invite you to this advanced fiction workshop, which is a thing, that, we like have to bring you on board for. It's not just open to sign up for. So he was like, I want you guys to be involved with this class. And so that next semester, I was involved in the advanced fiction workshop. But then I had another meeting with him before my freshman year ended, and he was like, if I can't convince you to be a major, you're already halfway to a minor. So can I convince you to do a minor? And I was like, you know what, all of this film stuff and it's not going like perfectly for me, but I loved every second of these English classes.
Mm.
I'll take a major. And so he was like, great, got it. He sent an email that night and he was like, cool, I'll take you. I'm your advisor now, and you're in the English department. You're a creative writing major, and we'll start signing you up for all these classes that you need to take. So uh, since that day, I have been an English major.
I think that's like one of my favorite aspects of the people at Pearson is that they make you feel so welcome and so at home. And like they will take notice of your work and really put an effort to make sure that you put an effort and know your potential. And I think that's like that is like the favorite aspect that I have.
I 100% wholeheartedly agree with you. Everyone at Pearson House is just so loving, open, welcoming, and just caring. And they are always so willing to take time out of their day to help you. Like, everyone in that house, I don't need to name them all, but Murray, Ann, Sheila, Carla,
Yes.
Kate, Bruce. I mean, everybody there is just, they're so amazing and they're so helpful. And I totally agree. I don't think that I, the fact that they seemed like they saw something and were able to just help me discover more about myself and about the things that it turns out I really love to do. So they're just awesome in
Oh,
that way.
for sure. That was Mary with me. I was an international relations major before creative writing, and I love international relations. I found it fascinating. I love talking politics. I find it so it's like watching a reality show. It's just like watching a car accident happen, and you just the more you stare at it, the more scared you get. And then so I was always a writer, and I loved to write, and but when I took Mary's introduction to creative writing, it sparked that love that I once had for writing.
Totally.
Um, and so yeah, so it's been a fairy tale ever since.
Absolutely. Did you have like a teacher in high school that sort of like sparked that English love for you and then you sort of like
Yes.
found it again in college?
Yes, actually, in the eighth grade,
Yeah.
I like fell in love with this book called The
Okay.
Outsiders. I know, cliche, but it just like it got me like into analyzing
Right.
pieces. And then when I went on to high school, I had this one high school teacher. Her name was Mrs. Navi, and she'll never hear this, but she took notice of my writing and was like, "You should pursue this." And I didn't take it seriously until college. So please take that seriously, guys. It's so nice to hear, especially like if you're like insecure,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
like they see people's writing all the time.
Yeah.
They know what bad writing looks like.
Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, they know when somebody has put in, the time and effort to make something or has something that they need to say.
Oh, for sure.
Um, my high school English story was that same way. My teacher, Mr. Newber, who might never hear this, but is I owe a lot of things to in terms of where I am right now. I remember getting an essay back from him or some kind of short creative exercise, and it just said not terrible underlined, and I was like, yes, it was so exciting.
I really made it, guys.
Yes,
It wasn't terrible.
exactly.
I'm just hitting the cusp of average.
Yeah. Yes.
Yay!
And that was what I remember. I was like, wow, okay, maybe I could do this even if it's just for fun.
It's the little things
Yeah.
that
one hundred
really
percent.
spark. What's your niche? What's your niche like in creative writing? I know everybody has one.
Sure. I mean, specifically, like the form that I have gravitated towards, and this is probably mostly due to Murray. I also want to shout out Elizabeth Hoover. She's a newer in the English department, but
Yeah.
she's also great. One of the people that I had not mentioned earlier. But short stories, short fiction
Mm.
is probably the thing that I gravitate most towards. And so, in terms of short stories, I love people like George Saunders, Sherwood Anderson, those kind of guys. But I also love like certain environmental literature and
Mm.
other like sci-fi fantasy things. Like I'm a big fantasy guy, as you can see from my Lord of the Rings here.
I know I
Um,
saw that and immediately was like, I was gonna take Anna's Tolkien class. I was so upset I didn't get to.
yeah, and so I'm a big
Like I feel like there's beauty in kind of uncovering that dramatic aspect in writing.
So,
Um, that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of like my niche. I love writing like icebergs,
oh
just
yeah,
like
yeah, the
underlining Trump.
Hemingway iceberg. Oh,
Heck
totally.
yeah,
Oh, totally.
heck yeah. Oh my goodness, it was so nice talking to you.
Yeah, this has been a
Um,
blast.
oh my god. But thanks so much for talking and taking the time to sit down with me. It's been great. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Oh, anything I'd like to plug? Oh my goodness. Um, English rocks. Get involved with English at Webster.edu, at Webster edu. If you're at Webster.edu, I said the email thing. Get involved with English at Webster. It's great. And if you're here already, get involved with opportunities that we have. We have so many practicums and things that will, allow you to put things on your resume and just get real world experience while you're here at college and just have fun, doing the things that you're doing here. And yeah, English at Webster is awesome. Get involved and yeah.
Very well said. Thanks so much. And don't forget to follow us at English at Webster on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date with what's going on in the English department. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.